Some moments in life look ordinary until they change everything. Today's story begins with a man who believed he had nothing left, and a mother and daughter who reminded him what hope feels like. If you love emotional, uplifting stories, make sure you subscribe for more. The sun was just beginning to slip out from behind the morning clouds when Elias Carter rolled his wheelchair along the stone path of Willow Lake Park, a tranquil space tucked inside the city where joggers, families, and weekend dreamers pass daily. Despite the beauty of the place, Elias felt none of it. He wasn't there for the lake, or the ducks, or even for the sweet smell of spring. He was there because it was supposed to be his first date in 2 years. A date he believed could help him feel human again. But 20 minutes after the time she had promised to arrive, Elias knew the truth. She wasn't coming. Again, he adjusted the sleeve of his green suit, too expensive for the morning breeze, too hopeful for the empty seat across from him. A waiter had already placed a glass of water on the table, but now the condensation had begun to gather and slide down the stem, as if even it was growing tired of waiting. Elias sighed and glanced down the path. Nothing, just a couple walking their dog and a teenager skating by, humming a tune far happier than Elias felt. He leaned back, grip tightening on the armrest of his wheelchair, and exhaled slowly. Another rejection, another reminder. 2 years ago, Elias had been a man people described with admiration, CEO of a major tech firm, investor, speaker, someone whose name appeared in business magazines. Ambition flowed through him so powerfully that he barely had time to breathe. But all that changed the night of the accident. A speeding driver, a single impact, and the world he built collapsed faster than the metal of the car. Elias survived, but the doctors told him his lower body wouldn't function again. He learned to adapt. He learned to roll instead of walk. He learned to smile even when the weight inside his chest felt unbearable. But love, companionship, connection, those were lessons he still hadn't mastered. Every time he tried to step back into dating, he felt judged before he even said hello. Women who seemed interested online became distant once they saw the wheelchair. Some treated him kindly but pitifully, others simply didn't show up at all. Like today, he shouldn't have expected anything different. Just as he reached for his phone, debating whether to call his driver or go home, he heard a soft voice next to him. "Sir, excuse me, are you okay?" Elias looked up. Standing a few feet away was a woman in a bright red dress, elegant yet simple, carrying a gentle strength in her posture. Her complexion glowed under the trees, and her expression had none of the discomfort he had grown used to seeing. Instead, she looked genuinely concerned. Holding her hand was a little girl wearing a vibrant green and yellow dress, her hair styled neatly with colorful beads that clicked softly as she moved. The girl held a drawing, crayon-covered, bright, and childlike. Elias straightened, surprised. "I'm fine," he replied with a polite smile. "Just waiting, or I was." The woman's brow softened, and she nodded slowly, as if she understood much more than he had said. "Well, we didn't mean to interrupt," she said softly. "I just noticed you look like you could use some company." Before he could respond, the little girl tugged her mother's hand and whispered loudly, "Mama, can I show him?" Her mother chuckled lightly, "If he's okay with it." Elias warmed at the innocence in the girl's eyes. "Of course," he said, gently. The girl stepped forward and held up her picture proudly. "I drew this today. It's supposed to be my family. But Mama said families can look different. So I added someone who's not family yet." Elias blinked. "Oh, and who's that?" The girl pointed to a green circle with a smile drawn slightly crooked. "This one." The green circle, a green suit. Elias stared. The little girl's mother gasped and laughed. "Baby, you drew that before you even saw him." The girl giggled, shoulders rising. "Maybe that means he's special." Her mother placed a hand on her daughter's head. "Amara likes to draw people she feels good energy from." Elias's chest tightened, not painfully, but strangely. Nobody had spoken to him like this in so long. Nobody had looked at him with simple, unfiltered kindness. "Your name is Amara?" he asked the girl. She nodded. "And Mama is Leona. She works over there." Amara pointed back toward the small cafe stand near the park's edge. Elias looked at the woman. "Leona, you're a waitress." She nodded modestly. "Just part-time. I also work evenings caring for seniors at a community center. But Amara loves the park, so I take morning shifts when I can." There was no embarrassment in her tone, just honesty. "What's your name?" she asked gently. "Elias." Leona's smile deepened. "Nice to meet you, Elias." He felt something flicker inside him, a feeling he had buried under layers of pain and expectations. He didn't know what it was, but it made him sit a little straighter. Amara suddenly turned to her mother. "Mama, can he sit with us? Please." Leona looked at Elias apologetically. "You don't have to. We're just grabbing some fruit cups before her art class." For the first time that morning, Elias didn't think about leaving. He didn't think about the empty seat. He didn't think about the date that never came. He thought about the kindness of strangers, and how comforting it felt. "If you don't mind," he said softly, "I'd like that." 20 minutes later, Elias found himself sitting with Leona and Amara at a shaded table near the lake. Amara chatted nonstop about school projects, painting, and her love of frogs, while Leona apologized every few minutes, embarrassed by her daughter's excitement. "Don't apologize," Elias said with a laugh. "It's refreshing." Leona relaxed, folding her hands on the table. Her presence was calming, not demanding, not impressed by status, not intimidated by the wheelchair. Just human. Elias realized how long it had been since he'd laughed. Truly laughed. "So," Leona asked eventually, "were you really stood up?" Elias hesitated but nodded. "I'm sorry," she murmured. "People can miss out on wonderful things without even realizing it." He swallowed. "I used to be better at this," he admitted. "Before the accident, before the chair, I felt confident. Now I feel like I'm being met with a story people already finished reading." Leona's eyes softened. "You're more than what happened to you." Elias looked up. Their eyes met, a simple exchange, but powerful. "Do you mind if I ask what you do?" Leona added. "I run a company," he said carefully. "Or I used to. Now I manage from home mostly." "Sounds important," Leona said, but not in the way people usually did. She didn't sound impressed, just curious. "It was my whole world," Elias admitted. "But somewhere along the way, I forgot how to be a person outside of work." Leona tilted her head thoughtfully. "Sometimes life sits us down so we can meet the right people, not just the busy ones." He smiled gently. "You're wise." She laughed lightly. "I try." Amara interrupted suddenly, placing her drawing in front of Elias. "You can keep it." He looked at her, startled. "Really? It's for your house," she said proudly. "So you remember you're special." This time, Elias couldn't speak. The lump in his throat was too big. Leona watched him with silent understanding. They spent almost an hour together before Leona glanced at the time. "Oh, Amara, sweetie, we have to go or you'll be late." The girl pouted. "But Mama, we'll see him again," Leona said gently, then looked at Elias as if asking permission. Elias nodded, heart unexpectedly light. "I'd like that." Leona smiled, a warm, grounded smile. "We come here every Saturday morning," she said softly. "If you ever want company, we'll be around." Elias felt his chest expand. The world, once cold and quiet, suddenly seemed brighter. "Thank you," he said sincerely. "For today, for sitting with me. You didn't have to." Leona paused, then placed her hand lightly on his. Sometimes the people who look the most alone are the ones who deserve kindness the most. And before he could respond, she stood, took Amara's hand, and began walking down the path. Amara turned around and waved. "Bye, Elias, don't forget, special." He waved back, smiling in a way he hadn't smiled in years. When they disappeared around the bend, Elias looked down at the picture in his lap. The green circle, the crooked smile. A stranger's child had seen something in him before he saw it in himself. And for the first time since the accident, Elias felt something he thought he had lost forever. Hope. For the next week, Elias thought often about Leona and Amara. Their kindness replayed in his mind like a song he couldn't stop humming. Saturday approached faster than he expected. By the time morning arrived, he found himself rolling his wheelchair back down the same park path, wearing the same green suit, not because he wanted to impress anyone but because it reminded him of the moment everything changed. The willow branches swayed above him as he reached the cafe patio. And there they were, Leona, serving a table with her usual calm grace. Amara, coloring in a notebook at the counter. Amara spotted him first, her face lit up like dawn. "Elias." She raced over and hugged him tightly around the armrest, her beads clacking joyfully. Leona looked up, surprised but pleased. "You came back. Couldn't miss my Saturday appointment," Elias said. Leona's laugh warmed the air. "Well, you're welcome to stay as long as you like." And he did, every Saturday, and sometimes Sunday. The friendship grew naturally. Leona's compassion, Amara's innocence, Elias's rediscovered joy. Soon Elias was helping Amara with her drawings. Soon Leona began sitting with him during her breaks. Soon he was laughing, truly laughing, again. One day, Leona told him, "You know, I think you're stronger than you give yourself credit for." And Elias realized she wasn't talking about physical strength. She was talking about the way he showed up, the way he cared, the way he found new meaning in moments he once overlooked. Weeks turned into months, and something gentle, something beautiful, began to grow. Not rushed, not forced, just real, a connection that began with an empty table, a moment of kindness, a child's drawing of hope, a reminder that the world, even in its darkest moments, still knew how to bring people together. One warm evening, the sun melting orange across the sky, Elias and Leona sat side by side near the lake. Amara chased fireflies nearby, her laughter carrying through the air. Leona leaned slightly closer to Elias. "You know," she whispered, "you're not alone anymore." Elias swallowed, overwhelmed. "I know, and you deserve happiness, no matter what path life gave you." He looked at her, truly looked at her, and realized that this woman saw him. Not the chair, not the scars, not the past, just him. He reached for her hand. She didn't pull away, and under the soft glow of the park lights, Elias finally understood. Sometimes the people we meet by accident are the ones life meant for us all alone. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe for more powerful and emotional stories just like this one. Your support helps our community grow. Thank you for being here.